Welcome to the Bitcoin Roadshow. It's Craig. Last time we spoke, I was talking about a few coins, and I wanted to just kind of show you quickly when I make these calls, like I did with last year with Dash and Monero before they popped. They're back down again at good buy prices now. It probably would have been better a few weeks ago. They've gone up a little bit, but still good buy prices for those privacy coins. But the one I was telling you about yesterday was TELOS, and I still think that's a sweet spot to be buying. Now, not as sweet as it was when I mentioned, because it's gone up 10% since then. Just to show you that I do make good calls. Some might call me the call guy. No, it doesn't sound good, does it? The male whole bag. All right, so basically this was TELOS, and down at 200. Now it's up at 200 and went up to 230 and back down to 223, but it's still in a gain from when I first mentioned it, right? And then we have Zilliqa that I've been mentioning for a while, and this is one that I bought, and then a friend of mine asked me about it around about the same time. I thought, oh, that's quite coincidental, so I bought a little bit more. And since I bought it around about the 50 odd, I think it's 59 I bought it at, or 58. Yeah, that's the date I bought it, 27th of March. Yeah, you can see it went up, shitloads. It's gone up 4 times since. So I'm just saying, look, I don't usually make calls. Here's the thing in life, right? I don't argue when I think I might be wrong, if there's a 1% chance I might be wrong. And I don't make calls unless there's a very high probability that I'm going to be correct, because I don't want to look like an idiot. No one wants to look like an idiot. This is why I don't do TA stuff, because it's not my thing, right? But when I make calls, they tend to be good calls. And of course, with this, it's not as definite as having an argument with someone about based upon facts, because no one knows where things are going to go. But what I look at, so let me just tell you how I arrived at this conclusion for TELOS. Now, I've already said a lot of times, beware when something's non-mineable. Now, this is a platform coin. But the benefit these guys have is that, one, look at that, $5 million mark, just under 6 million. It was 5 million the other day. Well, 5.5 million, I think it was the other day. So that's what you're looking at. Low market cap, 485 ranking. And you think, well, what makes them special compared to EOS? Well, in comparison to EOS had, I think, 350 million put into it in its ICO. And Dan Larimer was basically laughing at the audience, like, this is too much money. The same way the guy from, I can't remember his name, the guy who, from Dogecoin, when people started investing in that in the last bull run, he was basically laughing at it, saying, this coin was created as a joke, just a project, a fun project. The fact that people are taking it seriously and it hasn't had GitHub update commits for years just shows you how dumb the money is coming in, right? But for smart money that comes in, or if you want to be mainstream smart, because the smart money is always institutions, you've kind of got to just research and look at things, and also look at fundamentals. A lot of TA guys would disagree with me on that. A lot of the TA guys are working on scalping, so that's in a small time frame, taking upswings and downswings, and maybe leverage trading off it. I don't like high risk stuff, so I don't leverage trade, and also I don't know how to do it. So it's part of my cluelessness. Some of it's laziness. I won't go, when it comes to, oh, here, read this book, and I won't do it because I've got dyslexia, and it really bugs me to read long amounts of stuff. And there's certain delivery mechanisms for knowledge that I favor, and certain ones that I hate. And one thing that I hate is reading through a manual to learn something. I'd rather look through videos, and even then it gets tedious because sometimes videos are a bit short. To speed them up, it sounds like the chipmunks. I don't want to do that. But anyway, how I come up with this one was, TELOS basically took the EOS blockchain. I'm going to duplicate that in here and show you EOS. Basically, they took the 350 million they got and hired a bunch of people and created an operating system, the EOS IO, right? But being blockchain, where things are open source frequently, you can see the market cap here is now at 2.6 billion, right? So they've obviously made even more money since then, since that ICO state. And I believe it's a dead dog. Oh, look at that. Now, it could also be a good buy point, this is where fundamentals comes in, right? You can say here, well, you know, based on TA, once I get some kind of descending wedge here, maybe, or a head and shoulders, it might go, sorry, an inverted head and shoulders, maybe it'll go up. But at the same time, if you look at the news on EOS, in my opinion, it doesn't look good. It could be good, but I think their structure for charging people for you know, for rewarding the compute power of the network, I don't think it's structured very well. And when I look at TELOS, they copied that technology for free. So they okay, this is a very, very basic looking website they have, but it's filled with information. It's filled with facts. Now, for something that's based 400 on the list, and you already have wallets here for their coin. Now, some of them are EOS wallets because EOS stuff will work on it because it's the same operating system, it's the same blockchain. It's effectively a forked blockchain, right? That they've done more work on. So they have the benefit of having everything that EOS has invented, but to create their own structure, which is better than EOS for profiting from the network itself and for having the freedom to run things in the network. They just seem to be doing a better job. And if you look into some of the, let me see here, social media, it shows you some, oh, is that software? There's a lot of projects on here that show the dApps. So when you stake on this thing, from my understanding so far, there you go, live dApps. So you see there's companies using this already. So this does have proof in the pudding, right? See, live dApps. It has a community behind it. Now, as I say, I never believe as strongly than things like Digibyte or Cardano or Zilliqa, because they have a strong community behind them, and you have to mine it. You have put in risk, and you've put your hard-won capital behind the project. Not just buying into it, but buying infrastructure and running infrastructure and going through the hassle. And that's why I always do favor mineable tokens. This isn't, but it still has a lot going for it. Look how much, I mean, even after the 350 million ICO that EOS did, look what they're worth now, and it's still a bull market. I mean, it's still in the stage, I'll just go back to EOS again, it's still in a stage where look how far it's dropped. Now, don't get me wrong, EOS you could still make good money on. Look at that, 00197, right? So basically it was up at point, at its highest point, yeah, almost 002, right? Satoshis, and about 18, almost $20, right? And now it's down at $2.60. You pretty much couldn't go wrong with buying EOS, but I'm not going to be buying it. Just simple as that. Because you know why? I don't want to be owning more than 10 different alts this bull season. The reason is because last time, in 2017, I just lost track with stuff. There was too many wallets to have. I put wallets, I got so annoyed by having so many wallets that I just decided, right, only so many can fit on the old Ledger Nano S. The X, this one here, this model here can fit more on it. The thing is, oh, by the way, just a quick side note, my battery's fucked out after only a few months of having this thing. So just word to the wise. I'm going to maybe see if I can get them to give me another one. Yeah, so I'm gonna. That's the reason why I'm not buying EOS. If I wasn't buying TELOS, I'd probably be buying EOS, because I used to own, and I still do if I get it back from Cryptopia, if the liquidators over in New Zealand actually give people back their money. Because New Zealand's a lot more fair than Japan in that respect. What happened to MT Gots is disgusting, how they stole everyone's money and given it to the shareholders rather than the people whose money it is. That's just absolutely disgusting. And usually it would mean that I wouldn't trust exchanges in Asia. Like, I think Coin Tiger, this one here, where I purchased another coin. Oh, that's where I purchased TELOS, that's right. Let me just check here. TLOS. Funds. Oh, one second. Let me just get onto that one. Just pause for a second. There you go. It's called Coin Tiger, and I purchased on here the other day, just about 0.1 of a Bitcoin. That's the thing. Again, it's not a mineable token. On a mineable one, I would put probably triple that, if not more. So in the case of Digibyte and Cardano, that's what I did. Even though I already owned them on Cryptopia, but I've got to get over that. I've got to move on because I might never get that money back again. Okay, that's just part of being crypto. You get burned sometimes. People say don't keep your money on exchanges. Well, things could crash while you're trading. You know, things could. People don't think of that. It can crash at any time. Of course, that's not what happened to me. I just got too busy and then didn't make the time to take my money off the exchange, even though I had, I think, about a week notice. And then the site got locked and the liquidators took over. So look, this is the wallet. This is one of the wallets. It's really cool. Let me just check here. I want to make sure there's nothing on screen that people could take. Yeah, you can't get in with that. So basically, staked. I'm just going to try out this staking thing here. So basically, I think what it is when you stake, I'm going to look into this a little bit more, but you basically stake money against the overall compute that gets used out there. You're effectively renting the compute power, I think. So because these decentralized apps are running on the network itself, you're effectively staking money to pay for that. I don't understand exactly what it's like, but I think that's what's going on, and they give you a share of the margin from the people that are processing the nodes, the people who own the nodes, effectively. So effectively, it's kind of like, from what I understand, it's kind of like where you rent hash power, only you're renting hash and network and memory. You're doing the whole thing. So the CPU would be the hash power. Well, the equivalent of hash power is just online processing. So I think it's a pretty cool idea. It's more along the lines of staking, and that's why I think overall, when I get back to Digibyte, so here you go. I started talking about Digibyte last year, around about there. As you see, it went down. This is the thing to understand about having a strong hand, right? When I was talking about it back here, my friend Seb's been into Digibyte for years. I've been kind of not really sure, looking more at the fundamentals than anything else, and then also getting scared because of where this was going. But at the same time, I thought, no, he's right. It's got a lot. There's a lot of good things behind it. Besides, if you look on the community, besides the decentralization that the network has, if you look at the community online, they are still very passionate. You look at the community for Litecoin, which I've been into since 2013, and if there's any Litecoin people who end up watching this video, let's be honest with ourselves. On the community, it's more like, it looks like it's never going to go up. You know, people are getting very, very, very down about it. Of course, they end up becoming moon boys, not quite like XRP crowd, but they become moon boys when the price goes up. And I did call last year before the pump that it was going to go up, and it did. And then it tanked back down again. And I didn't guess it would go as low as it went. So there's my fuck up, right? But you win some, you lose some. This here, I started talking about it back there, along with Dash, which went up around about that time. And they, oh no, it was sooner than that. I started talking about Dash around about the start of last year. Anyway, you see here how far it went up. We went up from on the lows. I've been talking about it the whole time. It was down at 58. That was like real buy point. I think I bought around about 70. And then boom, up to almost 300 Satoshis. Now, this pullback is around, I've got buy orders set for 160 Satoshis, just telling you right now, with Digibyte. That's where I'm sitting at. I also, on the weekend, bit of a fuck up, but I sold out all my profit margin of Zilliqa, and it kept on going up. So I was expecting a pullback. Well, my friend was expecting a pullback, so I pulled out because I thought he might be right, and it kept on going up. And then I thought, right, now it is coming back now. It didn't. It kept on going up. That's life. I can't complain because I've still got the exact amount of USD in this as I put in, and everything that I've taken out of it, which is about $4 grand, I got it for free. So that's just going to sit there in dollars for this price to come down. Or if one of the other ones, Cardano, like I said in my video the other day, if the other two that I believe in strongly, the three that I believe in strongly right now, if they come really hard down, or they have a wick downwards, then I'll be ready to snap up that. That's it really. TELOS is the only one I'm adding on to the list of those 4 platform coins. It's a platform coin itself. It's a decentralized application platform coin, cloned from EOS, without any of the baggage, I suppose. You know, EOS has a lot of negative talking points from both on the business side and on the structure of how they generate money for the network. What else can I say, really? But of course, Ethereum's on there as well. I just don't talk about it very much, but Ethereum is always on there. I would think that there's definitely an argument to be made for long term. If Ethereum were to limit their coin supply, let's say, because Vitalik Buterin was talking about this. If they were to limit it to like 140 million coins or something, so Bitcoin's got 21 million, and I've been saying to a friend on the weekend actually that it'd be highly likely that by the time Bitcoin's fully mined, there's only 15 million Bitcoin left to access. The rest of them would have lost keys and just gone forever, basically. So Bitcoin is going to be more and more rare, as are any mineable coin. People are going to lose them left, right, and center. But it'll be more likely people will be counting in Satoshis in the future. It will hold its value. It will continue to do well. Even if it gets overtaken in market cap by Ethereum, it's still going to be the standard, because I think in time it will become the least volatile in the future. These volatile times, just because we're in the effect of the start of a new paradigm, a new currency, a new financial paradigm, right? Once it settles down, Bitcoin will be the first one to stabilize, and when it becomes the new dollar, it'll be like a secure buying index, something that doesn't move. When one Satoshi becomes aligned with $1, for example, that's what could happen. So then when you hear in the future that someone that person he's really, really rich, I hear he owns 1 Bitcoin. That's what it could be like. And I know people who hate maximalists, Bitcoin maximalists, get scared off of that kind of talk, or like to dig at it and make fun of people who talk like that. But it is true. People want stability, want something that's tried and tested. They want something that's got strong governance, and that's exactly why Bitcoin didn't increase its block size from 1 megabyte upwards to 4, 8, or 16 megabytes, because they don't have to yet. They can do it anytime they want, and Bitcoin used to have bigger blocks, and Satoshi actually reduced them down to 1 meg. Now, yeah, assumedly that's because it'd be easier to spool up another node, as I heard someone saying the other day. It's a very good point, because you don't have to download so much of the blockchain. So you keep it lean. My excuse that I kept giving the other day was it's like highways in America. Making them 6, 7 lanes wide for Atlanta, for example, didn't make dick of difference, right? People still drive like retards. Until you can get the drivers to become more efficient and drive properly with an IQ above maybe 90, then maybe you get everyone else off the roads, or just teach them. Even hey, if a monkey can learn to fly a space shuttle, then I suppose people can learn to drive a car properly. My point is, no point adding new lanes when places like Germany, you get 2, 3 lanes maybe when you're coming into Berlin. I hardly ever see traffic jams there, and that's because people know how to drive. So it's the same thing. No point increasing the memory, then people just become scrappy with their coding, and it requires more space on the blockchain for doing less. So it promotes inefficiency. You want to promote efficiency the whole way through. So I support the whole strong governance that Bitcoin has. It stops bugs creeping in when they don't, when they could otherwise have been prevented just by taking things more slowly. So that's why Bitcoin will continue to do well. Let's say in the case that Ethereum does well, I was going to say, if you buy coins like Digibyte, Ethereum, Zilliqa, and even TELOS for the unmineable stuff, coins that you can stake. There's more. There's other ones out there that you can do staking for. These are just ones that I trust more, and you have to look at the stats. I mean, look, if I'm talking about Digibyte, it went up, and it'll come back down again, probably to the I think probably even lower than 160 Satoshis. Personally, I think it'll come down to like 140 or even lower. But you can never tell. Cardano, look where it's gone. You know, these ones are outperforming everything on the leaderboard. All I'm saying is, if you watch this channel for the last if you listened to me since 2014, you'd be doing fucking well right now. And that because that's when I called Ethereum years ago, back in 2014. I was calling people to buy Bitcoin when it was back down to $150, down from 1200 back in 2013. So all I'm saying is I make good calls. Some things I'm bad at, I don't say I'm good at. I even direct you towards other channels. I'm just saying for the things that I am good at, which is finding coins or being told about coins by my friends, checking it out myself, and either agreeing or disagreeing. So I'm good at vetting stuff, right? So yeah, watch this channel and take the occasional picks, and I think you'll do okay. Right, so this is just a moment of blowing my own trumpet there. It's just deflate my head a little bit. Right. Yeah, EOS charts. I have to say, I've been talking shit about this one for quite a while, but the way it looks right now, given the fact it is a large project, even though I think it's doomed personally, it might actually be a good time to buy this if you're someone who's a scalper or a swing trader. You might want to do that. Start adding that. Look at the volume's increasing here. Okay, I'll move on from that. What else was I going to talk about? It's gone. Yeah, I think it's gone. Okay, well anyway, I'll talk about the staking stuff, right? So what I was going to say before is if you were to get into, let's say, TELOS, but definitely Cardano and Ethereum and Digibyte and Zilliqa, I'm pretty sure all of these have or will have staking of some sort in the future. For example, Telos uses delegated proof of stake. I know Ethereum is moving to a proof of stake. I think there's already options out there where you can stake Bitcoin with. I'm pretty sure that's what WBTC is about, but I haven't really looked into it too much. But this is going to be a big thing in the future. So everything from collateralized loans and all sorts of stuff will be moving to this new technology. So it does make sense if you can find low risk ways to take your savings and make money out of it. So in the case of EOS, basically investing in the hash rate and network performance and getting a return on that, it would make sense that in some ways, rather than letting people hold your Bitcoin, if you can go back to these companies and stake directly or stake through well-known staking pools, like in the case of Ethereum, and I don't know if it's staking pools in Telos or not, how it works. I need to work this out a bit more. But basically, you could have a fairly low risk way of holding some of your savings, and if you're living somewhere cheap like Southeast Asia, you can probably make yourself an income to get by. So that's actually what I was supposed to be talking about, and I completely forgot to mention. That was the whole purpose of this video, was to tell you that rather than just accumulating money to have some retirement in the future, what I can tell you is that when you make a big amount of money, you can piss through it like water when you're not working, because what happens is when you're not working at all and just living off what you've got, as happened to me in Australia, you spend 3 times faster, right? Because when everyone goes to work, that's where you're sitting at your office, you're doing your work. You get home from work, you still don't go out and do stuff because you're just knackered from working all day. So you're at home winding down, watching television, and then you only really splurge out on the weekend or a Friday night or something like that. When you're not working at all, I got to the stage where I was sleeping on a Tuesday. I was DJing at parties all the time, and I was just absolutely spunking my money up the wall. And then before you knew it, I looked around and I thought, oh shit, I'm almost broke. And yeah, fall from grace, and then next thing you know, you're starting life again. Anyway, look, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to continue to try and find some good buys. I'm going to say a word of caution right now, though, that I still believe we're coming down. I could be totally wrong, but I still believe between now and Q4 we're coming down. Even Even if it's only once or twice, it's gonna wreck people who are gonna panic and think it's all over. But it's not gonna be all over. It's just gonna be a small blip where the rich people will accumulate more. You try follow them. And that's why I would say have money ready to go. Also be buying in right now in case I'm wrong and it goes the other way and it goes up. So basically you're playing both directions, right?